Welcome everybody back to another episode of Non-Fungible News. This recording is taking place on America's birthday, so you might not be watching it until after, but happy Independence Day. Today we have the founder of Dragons of the West. The VeFam has all seen him in our community. He's been in a lot of spaces talking. He's been pretty active, and for coming from another blockchain, it's been really nice to see. So we decided to reach out, and very, very easy to nail down and talk to. So without further ado, one more thing, if y'all could hit the like, subscribe to the channel, because we're not stopping. Bear market, bull market, we're going for it. So anyway, how you doing today?
Doing absolutely amazing. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just right.
Nice.
This is what I enjoy, is sitting down, talking to people, chewing the fat about what we do, because it's probably just as hard for you as it is me to find this type of communication in my real life. I go to places, go to work, and people are like, what the hell is this guy talking about? He's nuts.
What's an NFT?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I love sitting down with people and getting to know them, getting to know their project. So you have a project on Cronos, Dragons of the West. We'll get into that. But why did you find yourself into blockchain, NFTs, and cryptocurrency? What we're doing now. What got you here?
Yeah, that's a great question. So basically, I was halfway through my senior year. I'm only 20 years old right now, and Corona just hit. And I got kicked out of my grandma's because I couldn't live with her anymore, because Corona was just coming around. Everyone was saying that she's high risk and stuff like that. So got kicked out of my grandma's, had to go live at my uncle's. And at my uncle's, I really had no way of making money and stuff like that. And I had started up a Snapchat account prior to me getting kicked out. I was going to do like drop shipping on there and stuff like that. But, I saw that the stock market and the crypto market tanked. And I kind of seized that opportunity, and I started educating myself on stocks, cryptocurrency, forex, and stuff like that. And I started up this Snapchat account, and I was giving out educational information, not financial advice, but I was giving out educational information on that Snapchat. And I kind of was just growing that Snapchat page, and eventually I started my own Discord where I would provide educational information on everything in there. And on top of that, that Snapchat was really my business. I was, having people pay me money just to promote their Snapchat on my Snapchat, because it was doing very well. Unfortunately, it did get banned earlier this year because Snapchat was really cracking down on, the shout outs and everything that was going on. But it was a great opportunity for myself, especially only being like a senior in high school. And I really seized the opportunity into investing into stocks and cryptocurrency fairly early. I mean, I know a lot of people have been in crypto, man, way longer than I have, but I've been around for about 2.5 years now. I was buying Ethereum at like $215 and stuff like that. But that's really how I got into it. I just started to educate myself, and I was talking to other people that were educated, and I was learning through other people, and also my own research and stuff like that. They always say do your own research. I think that's a very vital thing for anyone getting into cryptocurrency, NFTs. Get on YouTube, start chatting with some friends that might be knowledgeable, join the Twitter spaces, ask some questions. That's always a really good way to get your foot into the ground, so to speak. But how I got into NFTs, it was I think I've been into NFTs for about a year now. My buddy, who I knew through Snapchat, he was in my Discord community, and he told me about NFTs and told me what was going on. And I was like, you know what, this is pretty cool, something I might want to get involved in. And I got into a few projects, nothing really too good. All of them never really did too well. But he did tell me about NFT worlds whenever it was a free mint. And I went to mint whenever it was a free mint, and I missed out on it. And I forgot about it. And then it peaked at like over 10 Ethereum floor, and I was like, oh no. But yeah, it was that's kind of how I got my foot into the ground for foot into the door rather for NFTs. And then I started my project with a few people that I met through my Discord community. My first project was XR Pugs. I'm the community manager and founder of that. And then, we saw the Cronos chain was popping. We saw a lot was going on the Cronos chain. And I'd say late January, maybe mid-January, kind of brought this idea up to my artists that worked with us on XR Pugs. And we kind of just ran with it from there. So that's kind of how we started developing XR Pugs and Dragons of the West as well. We've been developing Dragons of the West for over half a year now. It's been a great time doing it. I'm sure a lot of you have seen me on the Twitter Spaces, whether it's VeFam, CroFam, whatever fam. I'm there. I'm talking. I'm representing DOTW, and every project that I like, I'm putting them out there. I'm getting the word out about NFTs in general.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I think you might be the most active person in our community from off of our chain. I mean, the most frequent flyer, I'll say, in our spaces.
Yeah.
It feels like we all kind of know you. And like I was talking to Taylor, who's the other part of Non-Fungible News, and he was telling me, he hosts spaces on Tuesdays. I think you have a Dragons of the West space on Tuesdays.
So it's actually on the XR Pugs account. It's a cross-chain space that I host every week, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. EST. We bring on like 12 projects every week. VeChain, Cronos, obviously, Ethereum, Polygon, HBAR. There's a long list of them, right? So I'm definitely very involved in the cross-chain community.
Yeah, that's what's I think what's really needed, at least in our community right now, and I would assume in yours, that because we all know one another in our communities. It's and our reach only goes so far. And I think if we start dabbling a little bit, I just started talking to you last week, and then decided I'm going to get me some CRO, and here I'm waiting to mint one of your Dragons of the West, and I'm actually pretty damn pumped about it. I mean, they're
nice. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, looking through it, it's cool. I like I said, I see your community, and that's what's going to help us grow, because that's one cool thing about what we do is if one of us succeeds, typically a lot of us are succeeding. If one of us fails because of what's going on, in the community, typically a lot of us fail. And I don't care if it's cross-chain, not cross-chain, whatever, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And so we definitely need that. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your Dragons of the West project that is minting right now?
Right now. Yeah, I'd be happy to tell you all about Dragons of the West. So we did just launch our paid mint on the 30th. Community feedback has been great. Even in the market that we're in right now, we have been chugging along. Lots of people are really hyped for our project. At least it seems like it, right? But basically, Dragons of the West is a collection of 4,444 Chinese dragons inspired by the hit TV show Avatar: The Last Airbender. you know, like I mentioned, I'm only 20 years old, so I grew up watching that show, and to be able to build a project inspired by that show, to have such cool art, it really it's very sentimental to me, honestly, because I love that show. I've watched that show probably 5 times now. Uh, because they did release it on Netflix, I think like 2018. So I was rewatching it, but it's a great show for sure. But basically, we are traditional Chinese style serpentine dragon art. If you look on our Twitter page, you'll see what the art looks like. We do have a lot of really cool things like armor on our dragon and scars and some things that might not exactly be traditional, but we had to mix it up a little bit because we are an NFT project. We're putting it into a play to earn NFT game. But that's a great segue into our main utility. Our main utility is the play to earn NFT game, coming out on mobile and PC a week after the paid mint. So the game is already developed. It is ready to go. You get a lot of projects that say, we're going to have this game Q4 of this year, and Q4 rolls around, and then they're like, okay, we have to postpone this. We're making sure everything's right. Q1, then Q2, and it's a process, a cycle that no one likes to go through, right? So whenever we started developing this project about over half a year ago now, we wanted to have our game developed and ready to go for after our paid mint, because we do want to add that utility straight away. We do have lots of plans for long term, medium term, short term, everything that I will get into. But to be able to add a play to earn NFT game that everyone's able to interact with right away, I think is very bullish for not only my project, but the Cronos community and cross chain community as a whole. For anyone that gets involved into it, right? But basically, a quick rundown on the game is it's PvP and player versus AI. So it's 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 for the player versus player. You're basically going to be able to start up a match. Someone's going to be able to tap on that or click on it because it is cross-compatible. PC can play with mobile, mobile can play with mobile, and PC can play with PC. You don't have to have mobile and or PC. You can do it anyway. If your friend's on PC, you're on mobile, you can play with them. It does not matter, which I think is really cool. But on top of that, it's PvP 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. Like I said, if you have one dragon, you're going to be able to play the 1v1. If you have two, you'll be able to play 2v2 and 1v1, and three, obviously 3v3, 2v2, and 1v1. But how the PvP works is you're going to be able to set out a live match. Someone is able to click on it or tap on it, like I said, and they join up and you guys PvP. I think that's going to be really fun, good community aspect. And there's going to be a leaderboard to, incentivize competition in a sense. It's all going to be friendly competition, but, the top, 3, 5, or 10 people, we haven't decided yet, depending on how many people are actively playing, which I think will be a lot. But depending on that, we're going to be giving out rewards in our native token for the top 3, 5, or 10 people on the leaderboard for the PvP. But there's also player versus AI. There are a lot of aspects and lots of depth to this game. It is a card strategy turn-based game. If I haven't mentioned that yet, because I'm just rambling right now, I get a little excited. But it is a turn-based card strategy game where it's going to be, like I said, PvP, and there's going to be player versus AI, where it's the dragon boss battles, the dragon dungeons, and the dragon quests. The quests are fairly rudimentary right now. Your dragon or dragons, they go out, they do something, and you get a reward for doing so. The dungeons, I think, are really cool. It's like an endless brawler. You go through with your dragon or dragons, and you go as far as you can. Obviously, if you get further into the dungeon, you beat more dungeon monsters, you're going to be getting a higher reward than if you didn't beat more dungeon monsters. And the boss is basically a really strong dragon that you can battle that boss dragon with up to 3 dragons. If you only have 1 dragon, I doubt that you'll be able to beat the boss. If you have 2, you got a decent shot, but if you have 3, you probably will be able to beat that boss. There is a slight incentive to owning up to 3 dragons. Just as far as the game goes, if you do have 1, you are able to play that PvP with your friends. That's going to be probably the most popular aspect of our game, and you're also going to be able to play player versus AI. But with those boss battles, you're probably not going to be able to beat that boss, right? Because we do want to incentivize people holding multiple, but we do understand, if you're only able to get 1 dragon, you want to support the project that way. That's totally great. We appreciate any and all support. But on top of that, we are, that's the base rundown on the game. I'll get into the staking and everything else like that after this, after maybe if you got some questions for me, and then I'll give the base rundown on that.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. And, I think the biggest thing that I take from that is just the fact that the game is ready.
Yeah.
I mean, because we've been waiting and there's always waiting. And I mean, 6 months in crypto is like 10 years in real life,
Yes. Yeah, dude, 100% agree.
And I think it's probably getting a little bit more dangerous for these projects to say Q4, the game will come, because there has to be more people like you're doing where it's ready. I think you're going to be better pushing off your mint 3 months and having a game that is ready to go versus minting and then building the game and hoping that it'll be ready.
100%.
I think that's huge. I really like to hear that. And then you said you got some staking going on too. So, and you have your own native token. So I'm guessing your staking will pay native token, but can you give us a rundown on what you got going on there?
Yeah, great. I'd be happy to. So we're going to be having an IDO launch. Some may be familiar with ICOs and different types of initial offerings for tokens. But basically, an IDO is an initial DEX offering. So everyone that is able to purchase that our native token during the IDO, all the proceeds go straight into the liquidity pool. They do not go to us developers. They don't go to the DEX. They go straight to the liquidity pool, which is on the DEX, right? But I think that's the future of initial offerings for tokens, because with ICOs and other ones, right, those profits go to the developers and then they decide what they want to do with it, right? I feel we want to give as much opportunity to the community to decide what we're doing, right? And putting it straight into that liquidity pool just kind of shows how committed we really are. You know what I mean? But on top of that, we're going to be having it on HopSwap, which is a fairly well-known DEX on Cronos. If any of you have ever heard of Lazy Horse Race Club, which is like a blue chip on Cronos, they are the ones that are behind HopSwap. They have a whole lazy metaverse that you can actually go into. They have a play-to-earn game that's like a 3D horse racing game. It's really cool. I'm good friends with the owners and everything like that. But basically, we're going to be having our IDO on the HopSwap DEX. And then after the IDO is finished, that's when we'll be releasing our game. So I say a week after the paid mint. It might end up being a week and a half, 2 weeks, or maybe even less. It all depends. But I give that week for a baseline, right? But just to know, the game is developed and you will be able to play that game right after, pretty much. But on top of that, as far as staking goes, it will be done all inside of our game, which I think is very unique. Basically, you earn that passive income in the game, and then you can hook up your wallet to the game, and the DEX itself will be able to see how many tokens that you have in the game, and it will be able to reward you based off of how many tokens that you have in the game. And then once it rewards you on the DEX, it obviously clears out how many you chose to withdraw from the game. So say you have 500 tokens, you withdraw 200 to the DEX, which isn't technically a withdraw, but it's like it sees that you have those tokens and it'll take it out of the game and put it into the DEX instead, basically, if that makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. But basically, how staking is going to work is you're going to be able to stake up to 9 dragons at a time. You do not need 9 dragons to stake, but you can stake up to 9 dragons. So if you get 9 dragons, you're going to be getting maximum staking capability. But on top of that, if you mint 9 plus dragons, you get a dragon den completely for free. Now, these dragon dens, I do want to clarify, are not required for staking. But if you do have these dragon dens, they do act as a staking multiplier. And you can put up to 3 dragons in a den at a time. Only 3 dragons in a den at a time, but you can stake up to 9 dragons. You can have up to 3 dens, which enables you to stake up to 9 dragons in all of your dens at a time. If you mint 9 plus dragons, you get a dragon den for free. 18 plus, you get 2 for free. 27 plus, 3 for free. We do not expect a lot of people to mint, 27, 18, or even 9, right? But if you do end up minting that is that incentive for the whales to mint that. We did actually have someone mint over 27, which I was like, wow, he's good for him. but people are actually doing it because people are stoked on our project because there is a lot of really cool stuff going on. But basically, it is not required for you to mint that many dragons to get a dragon den. I do want to clarify that. The dragon dens will be available in our in-game shop after our staking goes live, but they will cost a good amount of native token because basically it's costing you 525 CRO per NFT, right? And 9 times 525 CRO is a lot of CRO, and that's the valuation of one of these dragon dens right now. I'm not saying it will be that much whenever we put it into the in-game shop, but it will be a good amount of native token whenever we put it in there. So, if you do want to go ahead and mint those 9 dragons, not financial advice, you will get one of those free dragon dens right now. That way you don't have to buy it later on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a lot, but it's not like, it's not a lot. I mean, it's all stuff that we are familiar with.
Yeah.
That we all understand, most of us that are in the game understand, and it all makes really good sense. So I mean, it sounds like you are right on top of it with this project. I mean, doing what the community wants, doing what's best for everybody involved. So now that we have this outlook on you of doing, everything top notch, what can we expect? Because we're in this bear market. We don't know where we're going. Crypto has never seen a recession or a depression before. We've seen cycles, bear markets, but we've never seen what we're seeing today. So aside from all the stuff, turnkey, pretty much play to earn game, staking, all this stuff, why should we put our money in you?
Yeah, 100%. Well, me personally, right, I am big on community. All community managers say this, but I am really in these Twitter spaces. I'm in the Discord all day. I don't care what's going on. If someone has an issue, they'll open a ticket in our Discord and I'll reply as soon as I possibly can. Because this is my job. I work from home. I've been trading crypto, NFTs, everything like that for 2.5 years now. And I'm very grateful to be able to do that. But on top of that, that gives me a lot of free time to interact with the community, join these Twitter spaces, get my name out there. So if you're looking at it for just investing into me, because I know a lot of people do that. They see the community managers and they like the person and they'll invest because of the person. If you're doing that, it's probably because I am very active and very supportive of not only, my project and my community, but the whole NFT community in general, right? Because I'm in these cross-chain spaces. I'm hosting the cross-chain spaces. I'm hosting Crow Day AMA, which I haven't talked about on here yet, but basically Crow Day is where we bring on 6 projects from Cronos every week. And they're able to talk for 7 to 10 minutes each. We'll have 3 go at a time, and then in between those 3 going, we'll have live AMAs and live giveaways, and then we'll have another 3 go, and then we'll have more AMAs and giveaways. And I host that on my Dragons of the West account, and I might mention, like, my mint is live right now, but I keep it about those projects. Like, I'm here for the whole ecosystem. So, if you're wanting to invest into a person, personally, this is not trying to come off cocky, but this is coming off confident, because I know what I do. I'm out here every single day grinding, replying to Discord messages, joining the Twitter spaces, talking to the community, getting community feedback. Like, we've added things into our game based off of what the community said like before we even had our paid min and everything like that. And someone in a space yesterday just brought up an amazing thing that we could add into our game. He asked if there's a quest that requires multiple dragons, will some people be able to join in with their buddies? Say one has 2 dragons, one has 3 dragons, and they'll be able to do the quest together. And I was like, you know what? We haven't thought of that, but I'll bring it to my developer, and I'm sure we can do that, And that's why I'm in these Twitter spaces, to make my project better, to learn from the community, to get that community feedback. But yeah, a bit of a long-winded answer, but I always give those long-winded answers. So
It's all good. So how big is your team?
It's actually a very small team. So it's me, I'm the community manager and the founder. My artist, Kiko, who also worked with us on XR Pugs, and our developer, Jordan. That's literally the whole team. Our developer, Jordan, my artist, Kiko, actually knows him in real life. By the way, Kiko's an alias. That's not her real name. But Jordan is his real name. And she met him in real life, and she's known him for quite a while now, and he developed multiple games prior to working with us. He has a lot of coding experience, and on top of that, he actually developed other card strategy games before working with us. So he was like the perfect fit for us.
And so are they close geographically to you?
Yeah. I'm not going to dox where they're staying, where they're living. But personally, I live in Pittsburgh. They don't live in the same state, but they're fairly close.
Oh, cool. So it's not one of those things where, and this can be a positive and a negative, to where there might be somebody on the East Coast, the West Coast, there might be somebody in Europe. And so not everybody's always on the same schedule, but something is always the ball's always rolling. But, it might be kind of nicer too at times if all of you can convene on things and get it hammered out together. And so does that seem to be a good benefit to you guys to have that ability?
So like you said, there's positives and there's negatives to it, because, while I'm in bed, and like say it's after 3 a.m. and Jordan's not up, because Jordan's a total night owl. He's up until like 3, 4 a.m. just coding and working on stuff. But after that, no one's really in on the Discord. We do have some mods, but that's the only real downside that I see personally. We are always as active as possible in there, but it does really help with meetings that we have to do, and just texting back and forth, because I'm always able to reach out to Jordan or Kiko if there's question, comment, or concern, anything that's going on, because we're all in the East Coast US, so that works great for us for sure.
That's awesome. And so you guys, I mean, you must work well together. So that's a really, really positive thing. And I mean, I'm pretty excited about this. Really. I haven't ever been a huge fan of MetaMask wallet.
Yeah.
Just I learned the hard way about all these dexes and swaps and crap like that on Ethereum, and I didn't lose. I've spent a lot of money through MetaMask to try to navigate my way through. And but it seemed pretty straightforward to pull in the network, the main net for Cronos on the MetaMask, and I'm gonna do the test send over today and make sure that I got it right, and then send the rest from crypto.com, and should be pretty good to go. So I'm pretty pumped about that. We're just about out of time. Do you have anything else that you'd like to say to my community? Hopefully a lot of your community will watch this.
Anything else that I'd like to say, join the Discord, follow us on Twitter, get involved, because I am really active. You'll see me in spaces a lot out of any normal day. This has been July 4th weekend. I was with my family yesterday. I'm going to be with my family today, but I'm still going to be hosting a space at 4 p.m. while I'm at my grandparents' house today, because, the grind doesn't stop, right? But if you see me in a Twitter space, you have a question for me, please come up, ask. I'm happy to answer. Feel free to DM me on the official Dragons of the West account. I'm the one that runs that. And, if you're in the Discord, feel free to ask a question in there. I'm always open to helping in any way that I can. And if you have trouble setting up the MetaMask wallet or anything, please join the Discord. There is a setup wallet channel in our Discord that walks you exactly how to set it up and do everything. And if you don't have the crypto.com app because you don't like to centralized networks up like that, or whatever they're called, if you go through the bridge that's in our wallet setup tutorial in our Discord, in the wallet setup channel, it'll walk you through how to get mainnet Cronos from either Ethereum, possibly even VeChain. I know they have Binance, so it's a bit of a process for sure. But I think personally it'll be worth it. Not financial advice.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, and we're gonna have to do this again sometime, and maybe after the game's going up for a while, we'll check back in and see how everything's going.
Nice. Yeah, I'd be happy to.
All right. Well, thank you, my friend. You enjoy the rest of your 4th of July.
Hey, you as well. You have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.